Yo, what's up guys, Brennen bringing you a brand new build guide video, not just one individual build, but basically the things that you are going to be building in Season 15. I also have a fellow guest joining me back there. She's asleep, but she'll be a part of the video as well. Let's get right into it. So we're just going to start off with the classic. I mean, this has been in the classic for a while. It's been the staple for a long time. You've got your Ravenous into Triforce and Hullbreaker. This is going to be your best option when it comes down to split pushing. Going for the towers in the side lane, it's definitely going to be the strongest. You can take towers very quickly, you know, within 5 or 6 seconds when you have these 3 items completed. The only thing I dislike about this build path is that with the 3 items, you're only getting the 9% on the vitals because the AD is a lot lower on Hullbreaker and Triforce. So if you are going to take this build, make sure that you are committed to the split push, because you're not going to be as valuable in team fights and skirmishes and stuff like that. You're still going to have your power in 1v1s because you are Fiora, but when it comes down to it, this build is going to be much more valuable when it comes to split pushing. Now, there is a new age of Fiora builds going on, basically, right? And I'm sure people have seen it in other people's streams and so on and so forth, or maybe like a guide that they've watched for Fiora. It is the Spear of Shojin item. So the big thing with Spear of Shojin is that it was kind of broken for a while. The passive on it, the Focus Will, that does the extra damage, was not working with Fiora's true damage on her passive, and then it was, and then it wasn't, and it was, and it wasn't. So it was kind of broken for a long time, where you couldn't, and not broken in the sense of being OP, but more broken in the sense of not working as it was intended to for Fiora, which is why a lot of people did not purchase it. It has been fixed now when they did the true damage changes, which also fixed PTA, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So Ravenous into Shojin is a very common, extremely strong build. You can still get great damage off of these 2 items because of the stacking Focus Will. You get the extra ability haste as well, and then I just got distracted by her walking away. The Spear of Shojin, very good item. You get the extra damage from the Focus Will. You get the basic ability haste as well. And I mean, it's got great damage, great HP. It's a great item for Fiora. Now, what you're going to pair with your 3rd item is what's really the question. So when you're snowballing, you can look at items like Bloodthirster, which is a super high AD. It's got the lifesteal, gives you a shield. So this is just raw damage. And you can also take Cyclosword, a little bit less AD, but it's got a 99% slow, which is going to allow you to slow your opponents, hit the vitals a little bit easier, and make it very hard for them to get away. So we can look at Cyclosword for Snowball and Bloodthirster as well. Into heavy AD comps, that's where we get into a little bit more defensive, yet still damage items. That's going to be Death's Dance for your 3rd. If you're into let's say you got a enemy jungler that's AP and your laner's AP, you can totally take Maul here as well for your 3rd item. Go ahead and knock that out if the enemy team is heavy AP. And then this is a little bit not too much my favorite. I would prefer to take something defensive like one of these 2 items for my 3rd if I wasn't going to take Bloodthirster or Cyclosword. But you do have the option of taking Hullbreaker or Triforce if you kind of need to reel it back in and the team fights aren't working and you need to go back to split pushing, and you can grab those 3 as your other items. So that's like the new age build, and I think that it's really good. I honestly think Triforce and Hullbreaker aren't as strong as they used to be. I think that taking the new age build is a lot better with the Ravenous and the Spear of Shojin into typically a snowball item. Even if I'm not snowballing, I really do like Cyclosword and Bloodthirster. I think they're great items. And then obviously when it comes down to 4th, 5th, 6th, like the last items of your build, it's just going to be for what you need in the game. Are you getting bursted too much? You're taking Sterix. Do you need to split push? Why not? Grab a Triforce later into the game, grab a Hullbreaker later in the game, that's fine. Is the damage a little mixed up? So you got AD and AP. Well, you can grab the counterpart and grab Maul, or you can grab the Death's Dance. Enemy has a ton of CC, you're playing against a Malzahar. There you go, take QSS. If you're really carrying the team and you feel like if you die, you're going to lose the game, GA, keep you alive there too. So obviously those items a little bit different, you know, but when it comes to the core builds, there you go. That's what you're going to build. Now we're going to look at boots, because the boots have changed a lot, because now we have the feats of strength added to the game. So particular boot here that has shined through for Fiora is Boots of Swiftness. I would look to take Boots of Swiftness if my team is doing well, or if I have feats of strength, because the upgraded version gives me 4% total move speed. So 4% total move speed. Fiora gets move speed when she hits vitals. Fiora gets move speed when she uses her ultimate. So this is 4% increased to those totals as well, which is really nice to have. And I've been loving these boots when I'm ahead. Obviously, you know, Merc Treads into heavy tenacity, Steel Caps into heavy AD. And by heavy AD, keep in mind, because this got nerfed, it's reducing incoming damage from attacks by 10%. So look for heavy auto attack opponents. Think about what an ADC does. It just auto attacks. That's where the majority of their damage comes from. But there's also laners that do that as well, like Jax, for example, Tryndamere. Those are going to be the champions that you'll be able to take this and really shine through. I do think that there is a argument for CDR boots. boots. This is not something I take too often, but when you get the empowered one, you get extra move speed, 10% for 4 seconds after casting a summoner spell. So this is more of something that I would probably take if I was running Ignite. Try to get as much value as I can out of it. CDR boots are an option, but I would prefer it if you were able to get the empowered version. Now, let's look at the runes and let's make it super simple, make it really quick. So now that Fiora has been buffed, the Q is much lower. We no longer need to take Presence of Mind. Mana issues are a thing of the past. Mana immune out of the picture. You know, taking Presence of Mind out of the picture. Don't even need to worry about it anymore. We can totally go ahead and take Triumph again, which is wonderful. Legends, you know, this stuff is kind of not important. Typically, you know, you're taking Alacrity, but you can take Bloodline as well, but you're going to have Lifesteal anyways, and then sometimes if they buy a lot of Heal Cut, it doesn't really matter. Last Stand, so on and so forth. So I don't want to talk too much about the runes. I want to talk about the actual, like, keystone, the big ones here. So Press the Attack, really good into quick trade lanes. So we're looking at, you know, Garen, Riven, Shjoin, and it's also a little bit more powerful because it amplifies your damage dealt by 8% until you leave combat, which kind of takes Conqueror's spot for a while. So here's the thing. Press the Attack is really good in the early and mid stages of the game. Conqueror is obviously going to be much better in the later stages of the game, but you have to wonder and think about how often do you actually get to the later stages of the game, giving Press the Attack a lot more value than it used to have. So sometimes when you think you want to take Conqueror, Press the Attack is really the way. I would say definitely take Press the Attack and check out how much damage it's doing for you throughout the game. This is a great rune. I love it so much. The only time I'm really taking Conqueror anymore is when the enemy has like 2 or 3 tanks and I'm also laning against a tank. And it really needs to be a tank that you beat. Some tanks are a little bit tougher, right? But if you're playing against like a Ornn, for example, or a Cho'Gath, then Conqueror is wonderful, especially if they have like some sort of support or jungler that is a tank, you know, Nautilus, Sejuani, something like that. If they have multiple tanks and you think that you're going to win your lane, Conqueror is going to by far be the best. It's going to blow PTA out of the water. But in about, I'd say about 50% of your games, PTA is going to be the best option. Now, the last one here is going to be Grasp. You know, the classic, it's a classic. Grasp has been around for a while, ever since, you know, Fiora's been around. Ever since the runes that came out, Grasp isn't great. But Grasp is more to be used as a stepping stool. So when you're learning Fiora, you take Grasp because you want to learn how to play her, and it's a lot safer in the laning phase because you can get punished pretty hard. Grasp is really good into lanes you feel uncomfortable in. If you feel like you can't win the lane and you need a little bit of help, then Grasp is going to be able to do that for you. And so go ahead and take Grasp. Now, when I'm looking at secondary runes, if I have Conquer or PTA or anything like that, I typically take the Resolve secondary tree because it's just better. Bone Plating goes with Doran's Blade. Second Wind goes with Doran's Shield. Doran's Shield and Second Wind into ranged opponents. Bone Plating and Doran's Blade into melee opponents. Revitalize is a scam for Fiora, at least. This healing mainly comes from the Fountain. When you go back and you review it, you're going to want to take Overgrowth or Demolish. One of these 2 runes will be great for you. And I don't really take anything else. If you are feeling a little crazy, I know some people have asked about Arcanist with the extra damage from Ultimate. I've tested it. I don't think the damage is enough to make me want it. I would honestly take something more like Transcendence and Scorch, or Transcendence and Gathering Storm, or Transcendence and Nimbus Cloak if I was running Ignite. But really, when you're going Conquer, you're going to take most likely a Resolve tree to make your laning phase a little bit stronger. And then when you're going Grasp, that's when you get more availability into like the Sorcery tree. This is where I'd be more willing to take like Mana Flow Band and Transcendence, or even like Transcendence and Scorch, something along that nature. And then Inspiration, you can take the Boots and the Biscuits, always great. And if you're feeling crazy, you can always go into the Precision tree line with Grasp and just do it in reverse. Get a little bit more attack speed, maybe some Last Stand, Triumph, something that's going to give you a little bit more fighting power. And that should give you everything that you need to know about Fiora for set. I've been playing too much TFT for season 15 at the moment. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck in your ranked games. And until next time, peace, love, bye-bye.